Well, hello, everybody. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. I had all the opens and everything there, and then I went and messed it up. And so I don't want you guys to have to wait any longer because we got important topics to talk about tonight. And so I wanted to get you guys on here. So our show is sponsored by Dr. Michael Bratland, Chris Dental. If you believe in freedom, you believe in people talking about what they want to talk about, you should change your dentist and go to Dr. Bratland. He's the man. We also are bringing on some new sponsors here in January. We'll get all that taken care of as well. Our timber series is going. We got so much going on. But right now, Governor Tina Kotek, well, she's flip-flopping again. She she is so obvious. I know, she calls a special session, emergency, because we need to get this funded because ODOT's going to shut down and all the streets are going to concave into the ground and bridges won't happen and climate change will kill us and the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket. So then she gets the Democrats on the legislature to pass this, your largest 4.3, I think it was, billion with a B dollars in a tax increase. Most of it's a bunch of pet projects, but there is some stuff in there that's valuable. So anyway, then what do you Oregonians do? You brave, wonderful people. You go out and you make sure that this doesn't happen. So you get it on a ballot. So you gather 250,000 plus signatures in less time than you needed. You got more than you needed in like 2 weeks, 13 days, something like that. So now today she comes out with a statement, or maybe it was the other day, but the statement comes out in the media today that she wants to resend it. Like, never mind. I don't want to do that anymore. I changed my mind. I'm the governor of Oregon and I can do anything I want. And so after all you guys, I slapped you in the face once. Oh, but I forgot there was a little section in there too, where she said, most of you were saying, we don't want this. We don't want to do this. We want to vote on it. But the governor of democracy decided she didn't want to be so democratized. And that's not really a word. I made it up. And she then decided on her own fruition that, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to go move on with this whole thing. So anyway, that's where we're at. But here's the thing. So she's listening. Oh, Matt, come on. Don't give me that shit. I'm going to put your. So she's listening to us, huh? That's great. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is, Matt. Get off the fence. Your governor's screwing you. Ed Deal, representative. He's a Republican. We'll be right up front with it. We don't care. Matt says she's listening to the people. What do you say to that?
Well, I think she did listen and knows that this is a complete loser for her. And there's no good out for her. So I think this is her way of trying to make it moot and not have it impact the elections. I don't think she's really looking beyond the next election, and she's trying to salvage it. And she doesn't want this on the ballot, and she doesn't want her or her Democrat colleagues to be held accountable for their votes on this thing.
Is this one of those plays where it's like, 9 months, a year, 6 months, 9 months, they'll forget about it. Oregonian voters, they're going to forget about it and move on.
The Oregon voters are not going to forget about this. They're not going to forget about it. And if they try to pull any monkey motion and get this off the ballot, and by the way, I don't know of a way for this to be removed from the ballot after the signatures have been verified, which they have. They were verified before the end of the year. This is going on the ballot.
So how does she resend? Can she get her Democrat cronies to resend it? Can you resend a bill and then it still ends up on the vote to stop it goes on the ballot?
Basically, she could repeal the bill. So she could bring a bill to in the upcoming short session to repeal everything that is part of House Bill 3991. But my understanding of the Constitution and the law is that does not stop the referendum from going on the ballot. It may be moot, but it's going on the ballot.
And don't you think that Oregon voters would be like, okay, we're done with this whole thing, and would probably vote it down in huge numbers just to send a message to the Democrats and to her?
Oh yeah, they want it. They want this on the ballot. 250,000 people signed in 38 days to have this on the ballot. So they deserve a voice, and I don't think it's right to deny them that. But the thing with this move by the governor, it's not fixing the problems with ODOT. It's not making them accountable for the money that they already have to spend. It's not reprioritizing to put safety and maintenance first. It's not doing anything. I hope that changes, but that's not what it looks like right now.
Because the Republicans and the in the negotiations there was things in the bill that are still in the bill that you wanted left in the bill and because they were valuable.
Right. There's in the bill, it has accountability measures for ODOT, including audits. Why in the world would you repeal that? It included, it took all the tolling language out of the legislation, out of law that was put in House Bill 2017, several years ago. Why would you put all that language in? Oregonians don't want tolling. So a repeal would put all that language in. There's a lot of stuff that was done for truckers for parity. It would remove all of that language that the truckers have fought for years to get put into law. So a flat out repeal doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense if you're trying to make this problem go away. So you don't have to, you're hoping that the voters will just pretend it never happened when it comes to November.
So if you're sitting in your office and you're thinking, okay, so why did she do this? What is this really all about? Because it looks, I think I don't know, I'm not a Democrat, but I think to the basic voter in Oregon, it doesn't look like, oh, you're going to do what we want you to do. It really looks like, what the hell do you want? I mean, it's like, how fickle. I mean, this is like the most bizarre. So plus the other thing I want to throw in there and then you can just go. But the other thing is she disregarded the voters when they were mentioning this during the hearings, when they didn't want this to happen. And she didn't want them to vote on it. Then they go out and gather for, a couple months, work their ass off to gather signatures, plus the cost that went into gathering signatures. And now you come back and say, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. Let's do something different. And she's not even saying what she'll do. I mean, this is the most arrogant bullshit I have ever seen in my life.
It is arrogant. It would be one thing if she said, okay, the people have spoken. I hear them. They really don't want more taxes and fees. They want to reprioritize, put safety and maintenance first. Let's sit down. Let's figure out how we're going to do that. That's not the discussion. The discussion is, let's pretend I never pushed this thing in the first place. Let's put a Band-Aid on ODOT and get me through past the election. And then in 2027, we'll talk about a fix. Which, by the way, after the election, they'll probably bring taxes and fees back again. So we're not letting her off the hook on this. Now is the time we got to fix ODOT for real. We need a full comprehensive audit of ODOT. We want to understand every fund and sub-fund. I want to know what money is in these projects sitting there already. I want to understand where vacancies are across the whole agency. I want a detailed audit, reprioritize to put maintenance and safety first and foremost, and fill out from there. And that also means eliminating certain programs that are pet projects for the governor. And I know a lot of her more extreme supporters.
So what can the legislature do, and I guess Republicans, do you think, is she going to come back? Is there going to be a special session? Will they come in there? What's the procedure? I think people want to know.
Well, we have a short session starting in February. It's 5 weeks. And 5 weeks goes by in a hurry. So I really think if they really want to accomplish anything of substance, that we need to start the conversations now. And we should start a detailed audit now. There's things that we can be doing now to prepare for it. But I think the people have really spoken up, and that's what they're demanding. And to taking
Ed, you're cutting out a little bit.
is really, oh, am I back now? Sorry about that, Rick.
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah. But that whole last section we didn't hear. So go ahead and say it again if you can remember.
Oh, great. No, what I was saying is that we should be starting now, Rick. We should be doing an audit now. We should be laying the groundwork for what real legislation would look like in the short session that fixes the problems with ODOT. And that includes reprioritizing funding and eliminating programs that most Oregonians would say are wasteful. And anything else is really a slap in the face to the Oregon people.
Did she come to any of the leadership in the Republican Party or anybody to say, I think we need to relook at this or anything like that? I mean, it just seems like she's flying helter skelter to me. Like what.
I think she's really in a no-win situation here, that she put herself in this situation, right? But I know she's meeting with our Republican leadership, I think early next week. And I hope that there's some good, solid discussions there about how to really move forward in a way that the Oregon people want to see.
So Ed, you see that what's going on in Minnesota with Medicare and the
oh man,
fraud. You see that now that they're talking, it's in Washington State. I saw a flash. I don't know how much it was, $8 billion possibly in California under Newsom. Since Oregon always kind of folds in behind Washington and California, just does whatever they do. How much fraud do you think there is going on in Oregon with all this stuff?
Rick, I hate to say it, but I think there's a lot of it going on in Oregon, and I found some. I've actually written to the DOJ to demand an investigation, and also sent that letter to the Medicaid offices at the federal level, the Office of Inspector General. But what I found is related to a company called Uplifting Journey. They're a behavioral health provider. They were housing a Trinidad gang member. And as I dug into this, got confirmed that they accepted Medicaid. And then I worked with an investigative journalist named Jeff Eager with Oregon Roundup, and I can't wait to get him on here with you. And what we discovered through this process is a network of behavioral health providers in Oregon that we're quite confident have illegally taken Medicaid dollars. And they are connected to another organization, another individual in Arizona that has already been charged with $60 million worth of Medicaid fraud in Arizona. So this is a network that crosses state lines. I'm sure it's millions, and this is just in the behavioral health. We haven't dug into the childcare issues and some of the other areas that we're quite confident there's also fraud going on in Oregon.
So when you're out talking, this is the last thing I'll ask you, because I know I want to get you back to Ed's visit family, and he's doing this out of the goodness of his heart. But what do you think it's going to take for Oregon to really start? I mean, I feel like we're at a place where, the little comments like, "Oh, she's doing us a favor," and sticking up for it's over. I mean, it's kind of done. I don't think Oregonians, and I'm not talking even just Republicans. I get so many emails from Democrats who say, "Rick, I know I'm with you. Can you start calling them the extreme left? Because I'm a Democrat, but I'm not stupid."
Yeah.
I'm not the problem. And so I've been trying to re-language myself to keep it away from being Democrats and Republicans, because
you have to be careful with that. And I distinguish between the Democrat legislature and Democrat voters. We had a lot of Democrats sign this referendum.
Lots.
Libertarians, non-affiliated voters. And the whole reason we did this is because the legislature is not representing the interests of the Oregon people. Right. And they did this in a very flagrant arrogant way by ramming this transportation bill down our throats. They knew it wasn't popular with the Oregon people, but they were guaranteed that we couldn't do this. We couldn't get the referendum signature count up. So they did it anyway. And I wish that was just that one bill that was an example, but I see bill after bill that go through that I know the majority of Oregonians would be opposed to. I also see bills that never see the light of day that the Oregonian people would support. And so that's why I started the Oregon Freedom Coalition. That's why we did this No Tax Oregon movement. This is how we're going to take our state back.
You know, it's interesting when you say that because, you know, she knew, the governor knew that the Republicans didn't have the power in the legislature to stop her. She misread the power of the people of Oregon because they turned on her, they slapped her in the face, and they said, no, we're not doing this. And I think that was her big mistake. And she knows she's coming up for re-election this year. And I think I bet some political analysts came in and said, you gotta throw some water on this. Because this is
yes, they said she's screwed. This is a loser issue for her. She knows it. And she's trying to salvage it the best she can.
But you know what is so funny about it is but you don't salvage something by looking weak. I mean, she looks ridiculous by this whole thing is, you know, if anybody takes this as, oh, she's sorry she did it and stuff like that, you're stupid. I mean,
yeah.
You really are. This is somebody that she's in her life raft and she lost one oar and the other one's being pulled out of her hands, and pretty soon she'll be moving water with her little bare hands like this to get away from it. So
yeah.
So Ed,
she had you know, they had 12 months here to convince the Oregon people that this was the right thing to do. But the Oregon people are taxed enough.
Yeah.
And they're looking at where their money's going and they know it's being wasted.
Yeah.
And so I think it's awesome that they spoke up and said, we've had it. And this is just the start. This is just the start of what this movement's going to do. So
yeah,
we're going to keep pushing back.
Once that other information starts coming out in the Medicare and the Medicaid, that money that's being used for fraud, because you know it's there. I mean, nothing happens on the West Coast if it's not going to impact Oregon.
No, it's there. I know it's pretty deep because what I found is that the normal guardrails that were put up to vet organizations during COVID went away. And those guardrails that would have normally vetted and qualified providers, they weren't in place. And so I'm pretty sure this issue goes pretty deep with Medicaid fraud.
Ed Deal, thank you. Thank your mom for sharing you with us. There's more than one real
Thank
deal.
you.
There's a bunch of real deals right there with you, huh? All right,
yes,
Ed.
there are. Thank you. Thanks, Rick. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you betcha. We'll talk to you later. So again, that's Ed Deal. He was visiting family, and so he agreed to come on and talk to us. You guys, this is just crazy. Another thing I wanted to bring up, did you guys see, I got tons of these today, the BIPOC swimming lessons, I think they were, that the city of Eugene was offering. And on the brochure, it just says for BIPOC kids. So that's Black and Indigenous, according to Google. When you Google BIPOC, what does that mean? So they're inviting just Black and Indigenous kids. Isn't that racism? Isn't that racist if you haven't, and can tax dollars be used when you're just inviting the certain colors of people, not white, because white is a color, and you're not inviting them to this thing? Now, I did have a parent who called and asked the city of Eugene, and they said, oh no, anyone can come. But the brochure doesn't say that. The brochure that's being passed around on the internet, and I read through everything. I didn't see anything about white on there. All I saw was a bunch of BIPOC, and these are tax dollars, and they're promoting this for these kids to have a place. I think all kids should have a place to go and do that. But why are we dividing people? Why are we using race and color of skin when we're not supposed to be? When I grew up, you were supposed to be color blind. And yet now, if you're white, and especially if you're a male, you are singled out and you are discriminated against. And that is racism. You can't change that. You can't. White is a race. And I'm not saying we're better or worse than anybody else, but we're the same. And you can't look at black and brown and indigenous and white. Plus, some of us, I have indigenous blood in me, but you wouldn't know it by looking at me. So I don't get to go because I'm too white. I'm so sick of this. We have to stop this. That is racism. And just by me saying that that's racism, they will tell me that I'm a racist. And that's horseshit, because that's not racist. They're the racist because they're the ones who are making color an issue. And I'm sick of it. And another one just came across my desk, but you're going to have to come over here with me. And this is happening in Portland. I think it's Portland. Hang on. Let me bring this up. Okay, here we go. This is Black Families and Student Game Night in Portland. And I don't know who is sponsoring that, but can you guys imagine if there was a white family game night posted online? Could you imagine? First, we would never do that. But could you imagine if people did that? We would be we'd be scorned. If we had white swimming lessons only, what would people do? I would be repulsed. That is vulgar and it's horrible. But they turn around and do the same thing with Black and BIPOC. Why can't they get past that? We are not. You bet your fucking race and ass is racism. Oh, Kate. Whoa, I didn't mean to read your comment. I should have gone ahead. It is racism, and we got to stop that. As people in this country, we need to stop and say, you call them out when you say that, and when you are saying that and discrediting me or not giving me a job or not giving or my comments, and you discredit them and you say, oh yeah, typical from a white male. You're a racist. That is racist. Because what these people do not understand is we get it. And we are trying, we try not to look at color. They're the ones who are looking at color. So don't tell me I'm a racist when you are, and you're judging me by the color of my skin. And just for your knowledge, if you're going to call colored skin, black isn't really a color. It's the absence of color. White is a color. If you're a photographer or a painter, you understand what I'm saying. This is incredibly crazy. So if I was you, I don't know about this family night. That's in Portland, it looks like. But if I were you and you lived in the city of Eugene and you pay taxes, I would be calling those people out. Go to your city council, go to the meeting, stand up and say that is inappropriate to do that. You need to say whatever it is for all students. We have swimming lessons for all to be together. And I would make an issue of it because they need to know that is it your opinion they are judging? They're 100% judging. They're basing their thoughts. Maybe it's an undercover sting. Yeah, I'm sure it's not. But like I said, somebody did call up and they said that white kids were, also welcome. But if I just want, but this is the stuff that drove me crazy as a news guy, and it still drives me crazy. If we did that, if white people did that, said whites only, first of all, we wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But second of all, if we did that, you would be the black community, and as they should, come after us, because you can't do that. You can't base it on race. You can't discriminate against people, because guess what? Yes, I'm a white male, but you know what? That doesn't discount anything I do, because I was born this way. I didn't have a choice, just like my black brothers and sisters, my Asian brothers and sisters, my Latino brothers and sisters. They had no choice as to how they were going to be born, nor did they need to. They were born perfectly. This is how God wanted them. but we don't sit there and single people out based on their color. And that means black people, brown people, white people, yellow people, red people, whatever other color people you want to come up with. So if I were you and I lived in Eugene, I would be making a stink about that. Anyway, now let's get back to Governor Kotek for a second here. So with Kotek, what you guys have to remember, do not forget this moment. What they count on is that come November, when the election comes up, that you're going to forget all about what happened. They're banking on it. And that she's going to come up and say something, and they'll make up some PR skit about what they're doing and try to spin the story. Don't let them spin it. Do not let them spin this. You have to stay on them and get involved in the legislature and what they're doing. You know, it's absolutely insanity what's going on. Now, let me see if I can do something here. I want to try to, oh yeah, I think I can. File video. Hang on just a second here. I'm going to pull up a video. Can I do that? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I think this thing's going to go right away. So recently I went and shot a video. This is just kind of a cool little video to end the broadcast here. But it's a company out of Oregon. They're here in Montana, Advanced Land Management. And they take a tractor. Well, I'll show you with a video and you can see what they do. But there's a lot of fields and pasture in Oregon, Montana, Washington, Idaho that can't be used because it has so much rock in it and there's not enough dirt in it. So look how this machine works.
Rotating mass, the horsepower, we're just dropping on the ground about 12, 14 inches and crushing everything that's there. Rock, roots, everything. That's what's doing the dirty work right there. That's tungsten carbide. Just smashes and smashes and smashes. Wears like crazy. It's tougher than steel. It's right up there close to diamond. And the volume of rock that's out here is it's borderline astronomical. That's why people just don't do it. Most of these fields around here are the same thing, and just nobody's done it.
What did they do before?
They rock picked and rock picked and rock picked. Right now we're sitting on about 17 inches of loose soil. Compacted down, we're about 12 inches. You actually run a disc over. You can even till this stuff. But what we're doing here is we're going to grind it up. They're going to lay it down flat. We'll roll it, tighten it back up a little bit. We'll have a really nice seed bed. So these folks went from 1.5 ton an acre to 6 ton an acre of hay.
Advanced Land Management, there's the information. If you're a farmer and you're wanting to, I mean, what they're doing with these fields is absolutely amazing. So I just wanted you to see that because I think it's really cool. And if you do know of a farmer or somebody that's using stuff like that, Democrats have been spreading racism since the end of the Civil War. Yeah, I mean, remember it was the Republicans who fought to end racism. Just remember that, folks. They always tend to forget that. But anyway, I do it every day in my life, but I'm sick and tired of being discounted on comments by ignorant people who are racists, who call me a racist and then tell me I'm a racist because I'm a white male. Sorry, it just doesn't fly. And you know what? Oh, and I don't know, as long as we're talking, do you guys see, you guys all saw the Eugene Weekly, and I like to call it the Eugene weakness, that they called me a dick. Because I live in Montana and I talk about Oregon. I have created so many years of plus my news years, created an audience of you guys. And they don't like that. They feel threatened. So they come after me. And the only thing they can come up with, besides racist and homophobe and all that other bullshit that they do, because that doesn't even work. Then now they've come up with, because you don't live here, you can't talk about it. Well, fuck you. I can. I live in Montana because this is for my sanity. My wife and I wanted to get the hell out of Oregon. We love Oregon, but we couldn't stay there anymore and do what we wanted to do. We realized during their made up pandemic that all the liberal people just loved and put on their masks and everything. We learned that we could do our business somewhere else. We didn't have to live there. And that's what we did. But you know, the nice thing, I can say more here than I can there. And here I feel safe. There, I don't feel safe. So that's what makes them mad. So they can try to censor, and they're alleged journalists and they're trying to censor. And people come on, and I do hear people, why do you even talk about, well, you left? Well, you know what? I love Oregon. I'm a 5th generation Oregonian, and my grandson is a 7th generation. I will fight for Oregon as long as I want to, as long as I can, to give people a voice, because you don't have to live somewhere to love it. and to continue to fight for it. But sometimes you can not be able to physically want to live there and mentally, because I need freedom. I'm a guy who thrives on freedom, thrives on it. And when you take it away and you have stupid idiots like Tina Kotek coming down on me, taxing me more and more, I can't live like that. So I got out. And some of you can, and some of you can't. Some of you have to be there. Some of us don't. You know, God has a different job for all of us, just like he has a different color for everybody. Some people he's blessed and made black. Some people he's blessed and made brown. Some people he's blessed and made white. And then every other color. That's how he wanted you formed. So if you don't like my whiteness, fuck you. Because it doesn't matter, because God wanted me this way. And if you don't like me being in Montana and continuing to talk about Oregon, then get off my page. You don't have to be here. Nobody asked you to the party. You can leave. It doesn't matter. All right, we've got other shows planned for you. May have something tomorrow night. Got some stuff coming next week as well. It should be, we're going to keep challenging, guys. You know what I mean? Nothing negative about this. We're challenging. We're calling out the bullshit. That's what we're supposed to do. And every journalist who wants to be critical of me, and I include the non-journalists at the Eugene Weakness, if you want to be critical of me, go do your fucking job. I'm doing my job. You do your job. I'm Rick Dancer. Thanks for joining us. Go get them. Don't let them silence you. Don't let them tell you can't talk anymore. Screw them. God has a plan, and we're all part of it. That's what they don't like. Good night. I like you guys. You're awesome, except for the ones that call me a white dude. Well, I am a white dude, and I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it. I don't like I'm going to change it.